excited to talk to you more today about our programs. And I will pass it over to our colleague, Brian.
Thanks, Mary. My name is Brian Williams. I am the Associate Director of Success Scholars Programs here at the University of Pittsburgh. I go by he, him pronouns. I work with students, mainly two cohort programs that come to Pitt, Kessler Scholars and a combination of Posse and Mastery Charter Scholars. We work with these students throughout their time here at Pitt. So I'm also working the Student Success Hub where we do some more initiatives with those students that may need that extra support and help throughout their time in school. We have some academic coaches there that kind of help students navigate the complexities of higher education. So very nice to meet you all and join you all today.
Thanks, Brian. And I think I'm going to start us off. So one of the initiatives in student success initiatives that Mary and I, alongside Brian, run is a summer bridge program called the Provost Academy. So this is an 8-day, again, summer bridge program for students to get a head start on their transition to Pitt and essentially set them up for success in their first year. It's academic in nature, so kind of set it aside from a lot of summer bridge programs that you may see at other institutions. Maybe you have another son or daughter or you may see, but this one we really involve our faculty and students participate in academic projects. They're going to have an upper class peer mentor. They're going to make connections again to those faculty, but also staff, learn about resources and opportunities to make them successful at Pitt. This Provost Academy, of course, is designed for first year students who are first generation college students or from underserved communities or a member of a group underrepresented in higher education. So we like to call students that fit in those categories at promise students, and there's a lot of other at promise students here at Pitt, veteran students, transfer students, students that just may need a little extra something to help them transition along. This is completely optional. So students, if they're falling into some of those groups, will get a email invitation. You may have received that. Well, the students, parents will receive that shortly if they haven't already, but that just went out yesterday, inviting students to Provost Academy and direct them to that website. So basically, we our mission is to set up our at promise students for success. We anticipate about 200 to 250 first year students to participate in Provost Academy. Again, it's completely optional. If a student wants to take advantage of this opportunity, they can. If they are not interested or they have conflicts, that's fine too. There's a lot of different transitional programs that we have here at Pitt. Today, we're going to focus on some that we specifically work on. But of course, at Pitt, we have Welcome Week and Panther Connect and some other things that we, of course, can, direct you to those. But this is, the students move directly into their fall term on campus housing assignment if they are staying on campus. If they're commuting or living off campus, we can work with that student to make sure that they can participate fully as well. But they'll move in either on Saturday, August 9th, or Sunday, August 10th, whichever. Both of those dates are move-in dates, and whichever works best for the student and the family, they just choose. Their room is going to be ready on the 9th, and they just come either of those days. So you're here, the student is here 2 weeks before the first day of class, 1 week before the rest of the incoming first year students, before Welcome Week begins. So they're in a group of 250 other peers, really getting their feet wet on campus, learning about how to be a successful, student before the other thousands of first year students arrive. So it's a great environment to just, to get started out on. There's no registration fees, so this is completely free. There's no participation fee or anything like that. All meals are provided for the week. And we have programming when students move in. We have some programming on Saturday and Sunday, but we really want to allow the student to focus on one, traveling, getting to Pittsburgh is its own feat, and then also moving in, which is another feat, getting themselves settled in their residence hall room, or maybe some loose ends, some things that they need to do when it comes to first arriving on campus. So we're here to meet them, to greet them, to answer their questions, to answer your questions as family members. Summer is involved in the Provost Academy, so we're here to help you along, but we don't have you scheduled too much with Provost Academy for those first 2 days. Then we really, come Monday, we hit the ground running with those students. So starting Monday, each morning and afternoon, students will attend an academic project time with their faculty. So it's very similar to, going to class throughout the week. They'll go to their project in the morning and then after lunch in the afternoon. They'll be with a smaller group of first year students. So usually like 20 or 25 students will be in each of these faculty projects, as well as an upper class peer mentor. The projects are interdisciplinary, and you can see the URL link at the top of the screen, pi.tt/academy. Going on that website will give you a lot of details about the program, but you can see these academic projects that students will sign up for, when they register for the program. So they're interdisciplinary in nature. They generally center around like a popular culture topic or a current issue. Students do not have to select a project that coincides with their intended major. We actually encourage them to do the converse, pick something that just sounds fun, that gets them out of their comfort zone a little bit and to learn about something new. It's very low stakes. Students and low pressure. They're not getting a grade. This isn't for credit. This is just to expose students to faculty, to the classroom, to each other, making friends, thinking about topics, just getting, again, your academic brain, rearing to go while we're doing some other things, throughout the academy. So these are fun projects, and students learn a lot, and they tend to have a lot of fun in them. So they're not really too much work. We challenge them, but not in a way that feels stressful. Just that, oh, I remember kind of feeling that, getting up and being somewhere at 9 a.m. or feeling a little, challenged by that question. And so when school starts, these things are already, they can recognize these feelings, and gets them started in that kind of perspective. Um, so our intention is to develop, relationships, success skills alongside professors, and help students to get ahead academically. The projects will be not only classroom time where they might learn the technology that they'll use throughout their time here at Pitt, or about buildings or things like that, but there's also a lot of hands-on experiences. So students will often be taken by faculty, into the local community. So learning about their topic, but also applying that, and how to, be engaged civically, and how that's applied to the real world and given back to their community. And just seeing Pittsburgh. I mean, that's kind of another, goal of ours, is to get students used to their environment, their local environment as well. If you, a shameless plug for our Instagram, which is at Pitt Provost Academy, you'll see, some videos of one of our projects last year. It was called Water Quality. So they talked a lot about water equity, but they also went paddleboarding. So you'll see videos of them in paddleboarding in our rivers, which, those things, there's students that maybe being in water is not their most comforting thing that they would do, but they pushed themselves, they got themselves on a paddleboard, and they really, had that accomplishment, when it was all said and done. So it really gets you in a good mindset before you start the year. The other things we do during Provost Academy, in addition to these academic projects with our faculty, we do a lot of workshops. So really teaching students where to go to make the most of their education, where to go when they need help. We're all here to serve students and to help students get to that finish line, and really to also build relationships. Oh, hey, I know Brienne. I can go to her and ask her this question, or go to Mary or Brian, and they'll point me in the right direction. So we put a lot of staff in front of students, and so they can learn about the offices and the resources and the opportunities, that we have throughout their entire time here. So we have workshops, we have academic, or excuse me, we have social events. Those Provost Academy leaders, or PALs, as we have acronymed them, they will be busy this summer planning fun social events for your incoming student. They went through Provost Academy as a first-year student, so they know very well what this week is like, of course, what the transition is like, those ups and downs, and being able to tell their story and provide that peer resource that's so valuable. And the tricks and the trades when it comes to being a successful student, you know, and they sharing similar like-mindedness and from similar backgrounds is very powerful. So we really rely on these students to make Provost Academy successful. They love it, you know, otherwise they wouldn't apply for this position, and it's a lot of fun. So you know, we'll do everything from taking the students off campus to, you know, you know, tour of our north side. We've gone to Pirates games in the past, or our Gateway Clipper cruise line. So, and then also doing things on campus like carnivals and scavenger hunts and game nights and all kinds of things for them. Again, we want students to make friends, and then also just start to build a community of students that is also essential to their success as well. At the end of the week, students will actually present their project in front of all of the participants to kind of culminate the week, which is very rewarding. That actually really gives them a lot of confidence going into the first day of class, and they're able to showcase everything that they did and what they saw and what they learned in a group setting through their presentation. So again, the goals when it comes to Provost Academy is giving students a sense of belonging. You know, a lot of students, if they don't persist, there's many reasons why, but there are not always academic reasons. We want a student to feel happy and safe, and those things come with, you know, building that community and, you know, knowing that they belong here. Not feeling, but, you know, knowing that we know they belong here, but we want to make sure that they also have those same sentiments. So you hear that a lot, but that's kind of how we want to hopefully have that student start to feel that way. We want to give students authorship or empowerment, you know, that they know when they want to seek out, whether it's a research project or studying abroad or mental health counseling or going to the pharmacy or whatever it comes to their academic success or their wellness, that they can, you know, seek those things out, that they can write their own story, that we are here to, you know, get them everything that they need or want when it comes to their success and the next step, whether that's grad school or a job. It's pretty wild to think about that now, but that is the goal. That is the goal. So we want students to feel empowered to do that from day one. Like, I'm in control of this. I got this, but I have the plethora of resources here to help me to meet that goal. And I am not alone in trying to figure that out. And yeah, we want students to cultivate confidence to navigate college academics. Again, when it comes to the classroom, the faculty environment, you know, I need to go to these office hours. There's a lot of things in college that are optional. We want students to know that they need to do these things. And, you know, when it comes to you as a family member telling them, that doesn't always work. So by showing them and having them, you know, actually have a faculty member talk to them about office hours and why that could be something that they would want to take advantage of is an example of what we aim to do. And ultimately, again, helping students find a community and be exposed to resources and remove barriers, whether that's through staff, faculty, or the PALs, who are all have very diverse majors and are from all across the country and even the world. Yeah, is kind of our goal. The deadline to register for Provost Academy is July 18th. So again, we just opened it up. There's plenty of time for students to make that decision if they want to participate. But we are here to answer any questions along the way. Thank you.
And Bree, we did get a question. I will read it to you if you'd like to answer it. Is the room that they're going to live in during Provost Academy the dorm that they get to keep for the rest of the semester?
Yes. Thanks, Mary. That's a really good question. Probably others are wondering that as well. So the answer is yes. The student moves directly into their fall term housing assignment and they stay put. So the room that they're moving in for the fall will be where they move into Provost Academy. So they're an early arrival student. We get our housing office to open up their rooms for them a week early before everyone else, and then they stay put. So their roommate, if they, are assigned a roommate or maybe have a roommate in mind coming in, that roommate, unless they're participating in Provost Academy, might not be here yet. They may arrive 8 days later, but they'll be in the room first and they will not have to move twice. So that's kind of a good thing. That's a good question. Mary, any other questions pop up yet? Okay.
Well, yeah, we just got one. If their child wants to live off campus, can they still come to Provost Academy?
Yes. Yes. So if there's, depending upon the transportation situation, we can work with that student. If they're like, oh, I can easily catch the bus, back to my home or my apartment, kind of wherever the student is living, then great. We'll work with them. All the students need to learn how to navigate campus shuttles, city buses, and that's part of the program too. But if there is, something that the student might need, whether I can reach out to them to the parking office if that is needed to see if there's something we can do on that end, or something. So it's good that if the student definitely, if they're a commuter or off-campus student, they absolutely can participate in the Provost Academy. And if that student feels like there is a barrier or something that could complicate, please reach out to the Office of Student Success Initiatives, and we can see what we can do to make their participation as seamless as possible. But the short answer is yes.
We got them all.
Okay.
Okay, so I will jump in now and talk a little bit about another initiative that we have. We want to make sure that we are here for our first-gen students all year, right? This isn't only a summer initiative program that we can offer. And so students, whether they go through Provost Academy or not, all first-gen students will be invited to participate in the Career Prep Academy. So the Career Prep Academy is a career exploration support program for all of our undergraduate students at any stage of their career development, even especially maybe our undecided students who don't know what they want to major in or what they want to do post-graduation. So our goal is to help students get career ready while connecting them with the resources here at Pitt. It was designed with first-gen students in mind, and they will all get a personal email inviting them to participate as long as they identified as a first-gen student when they registered or signed up. The academy lasts 8 weeks. We offer it in the fall and in the spring, and classes meet about 50 minutes a week. Upon successful completion, students are invited to a celebratory networking event where they get an exclusive opportunity to meet local employers and alumni that are affiliated with their major. And then we also do give them a $200 book award. So that way, we know we have some students who maybe are working a job and they feel that they can't miss that opportunity to make some money, but we know this program will help them. So we do give them that kind of stipend at the end. And then if I could have the next slide, Brian. to give a little bit more insight as to, thank you, what these levels look like in the Career Prep Academy. We have 3 unique levels because we really want to meet your student where they are. So a student gets to choose where they start. We have a lot of students who want to start at level 1 and work their way up, and that's great, but if they don't need level 1, we don't want to waste their time, so they can go ahead and skip. But in level 1, students can expect to explore their interests and their aptitudes while discovering what major or career fields they may want to pursue. So in level 1, we do aptitude testing. They get to meet with a career consultant. We go over their career values, and we go over what their personality tells us about what careers they may excel in. And then in level 2, we really shift the focus to connecting students with opportunities. So whether it's for an internship or a job, students can expect to develop a search strategy and build their networking and interviewing skills. So they'll meet with an experiential learning consultant, they'll do mock interviews, and of course, resume preparation. Now, level 3 is about achieving success after Pitt. So it's really geared towards our juniors and our seniors, where they can expect to learn about negotiation, mentorship, preventing burnout, and graduate school. And a student can return and complete all the levels, like I said, to help them get career ready. They'll get that $200 each time. And this program, the Career Prep Academy, was built in partnership with our Career Center. And so I get to work very closely. I work with Brianne, but then I work closely with the Career Prep Academy and the Career Center, where we develop this curriculum and teach the classes. And that's it on that.
All right. Well, thanks, Mary. So that's where I'll take over. So Brian and Mary had talked about, Provost Academy, students summer bridge program, different career development opportunities for those students. Also, what we do is do more on the academic side. So once they complete Provost Academy, they become Provost Scholars. And the Provost Scholars is going to be a program that's going to provide this holistic academic and social support for students who participate in summer bridge Provost Academy. So once those students, go through that experience, once they become Provost Scholars, we kind of monitor them and make sure that they are getting what they need, and somebody for them to reach out to if they had questions, concerns moving forward. So just kind of going on as an asset-based program, welcoming students at close-knit community at Pitt, along an intentional partnership with Student Affairs, Brianne and Mary. Scholars will be prepared for their lives of impact through educational experiences tailored to their specific goals and needs. So what we want to do is that we understand that there's all different types of students that come to the Provost Academy, and all different academic walks in college look different for these students. So what we want to do is that once these students complete Provost Academy and they're kind of trying to navigate the complexities of higher education, we're more or less like a place where those students can kind of say, hey, you know what, I have a question about this. I'm not quite sure who to turn to. Let me reach out to the Student Success Hub. Let me reach out to Brian. Um, so we'll be around these students a lot during Provost Academy, introducing ourselves, myself and our team. We have a Student Success Hub team, which is myself, my colleagues Rayla Adams and Stephen Anderson, as well as Carl Sell and Laura Stolte. We all work in the Student Success Hub and kind of provide help for those students that may be looking for that help. Not saying that we're the end all be all, but if students had questions, we can certainly point them in direction of where to gain access to those questions. I like to say that, we're a jack of many trades, but a master of few. So there's a lot of things that we know just by default from being at the university for a while, but certainly, we can help students get along their way and give them information moving towards those next, those next connections here at Pitt. Talking specifically about the Student Success Hub, it's located in 217 Langley Hall. That's where my office is located. That's where my colleagues I had mentioned office are located. And basically, what the Student Success Hub is at the very bare minimum, it's a place where students can come, study, gather together. We have rooms that are available, I say for renting, but for reserve, where these students can use this room for study sessions. Maybe they're trying to use the whiteboard and need some extra space. But it's a place that students can turn and use that for both study and collaboration. We also offer academic coaching there, and I'll talk a little bit more about academic coaching. But when students graduate from Provost Academy and become Provost Scholars, we monitor them. So there's things called early progress reporting. So with all of our most of our professors, I should say, professors will give us an update on how these students are doing in the classroom. And typically, this is within the first 6 weeks of the semester. So we can reach out to these students and say, hey, I see that you may have an attendance concern in the class, or I see that you may not have passed your first exam, or maybe you're having some trouble with your homework. And in that point, we can intervene with these students and try to give them, access to things like tutoring, or maybe they knew about tutoring but don't know where that tutoring is located. We can show those students tutoring. We also have tutors that are built into our programs too that we can refer students to. So it's just an opportunity for us to kind of intervene before it's too late, to give students resources and supports that can kind of help bridge that gap between the time that they get that early progress note and the withdrawal period, because we like to intervene within there. If a student is, falling behind to the point where it's going to be counterproductive for them to catch up, we can talk about what those other options are. But ideally, we would like to get that student early on in the progress, early on in the class, so we can help guide them and give them information on how to better their grade. Also, on top of that, if that same student, maybe they go through that class and they don't pass it. It's an opportunity for us. Certainly we want to defer to our academic advisors, but if there's an instance where a student can't get in contact with their academic advisor, or can't schedule an appointment, or there's a deadline that they have to meet, they can also come to our offices too, where we can help say, hey, here goes this strategy. So when the next time you meet with your academic advisor, you could talk to them about these things and kind of get an insight on how to advocate for themselves academically. Because it is a little bit different when you come to school. Is there's the school is big, so in some cases there might be a classroom where you might have 300 students in there, and sometimes that can make students feel a little bit overwhelmed. But knowing that there's this support system that's already in place, once they get finished with Provost Academy, that's automatic, between myself, Brianne, Mary, individuals on my team that are there for these students every step of the way. Also, on top of that, academic coaching, we have the Student Academic Success Series, or SAS workshops, that we have. And these SAS workshops are exactly designed as they sound. They're academic success workshops. So it could be, learning how to time manage. It could be, we use a educational platform called Canvas here, how to use your Canvas. It could be how to communicate with professors and things like that. Things that, many people may have taken for granted on how to communicate or how to navigate things academically. But, sometimes these students might be afraid to stand up in the classroom to say, hey, I just don't know. With us, they can have that opportunity to come and study in our space, use our academic coaching, come to workshops where other students like themselves are sitting in these workshops gaining this information as well. And all these things take place in 217 Langley Hall. So moving forward, let's talking a little bit more about that academic coaching. This is certainly available to those students that are become Provost Scholars, but this academic coaching is available to all students. So if for whatever reason, you can't make it to the Provost Academy, which you should, because it's an excellent opportunity for students, academic coaching is available to all students, okay? Students can schedule through is Pathways Navigate, which students will learn how to use in their online orientation. and they can schedule these appointments with our academic coaches to talk about things, to just introduce themselves, just to say, hey, you know what? I'm in my first semester of college. I'm a pre-med student. I haven't taken bio or chemistry since, the ninth grade. I need help in these things. We can, and all these things are confidential, so students can feel comfortable coming in and asking us these questions. Again, it serves as a supplement to academic advising. We are not, and I will repeat over and over again, we are not replacing their academic advisors. Students need to meet with their academic advisors at least once a semester, and we are not taking the place of that person. So students are required and encouraged and pushed to go to their academic advisors, but we're kind of like a supplement to that. If students may have questions or maybe want to prep before they go into the academic advising appointment. Again, in our SAS workshops or student academic success series, we are going to teach students about those study skills, how to do time management, how to explore academically. There's a number of students that have a game plan coming into school, or maybe they don't have a game plan and they're not quite sure where to go. So with both of those sets of students that may have a game plan and things may get derailed a little bit, we can help those students that don't really have a game plan, but hey, is it okay if I take these classes and all these different programs? That's okay too. Students are allowed to explore, what direction they want to go in college. There is no cookie cutter approach for all these students. Okay. Resource referrals. So some students, one that I really push is studying abroad. I didn't get an opportunity to study abroad. I'm a first generation student. I didn't think there was any way that I would ever be able to learn, be able to study abroad, financially, academically, so on and so forth. But these opportunities are available to students. There's funding available. There's opportunities for you to gain credits in general education requirements within your major doing these study abroad projects. So all those resources that students may have heard about or maybe had, maybe saw a blurb on it, but they don't quite know who to ask about these things. We're here, we're available, and we're ready for those students to come in and to ask those questions. And a lot of times, even in the Student Success Hub, it's not about getting that academic coaching or connecting with somebody. Sometimes it's just about, hey, you know what? I hear they have snacks. I hear they have cookies. I hear they have free coffee. I hear they have water, in the Student Success Hub. And that's okay too. We just want our students to feel like they belong here at the University of Pittsburgh. That starts with the Provost Academy, and that continues through once they become Provost scholars and start getting into the rigor of their academics. Um, and again, this talks about our Academic Success Academy. Excuse me, it was called Academic Success Academy. It's called Students Academic Success Academy. Excuse me, Academic Success Series. But this kind of gives you an idea of just some of the things that we may have information about. So, honors college. A lot of students may get enrolled in the honors college before they even come to Pitt, but students don't know that they can still join the honors college even after they get here. Financial wellness. A lot of there's a lot of money that's being paid to go to school. Just to kind of help educate students on how to be smart about finances and financial aid and even their own personal finances, how to budget. It is different living in the dorms versus living in an apartment. So we help students with that and kind of figure out how to ways they can navigate things. Studying when you're sad, that's a real thing. The seasonal affective disorder, the strategies to cope with that, things to do, how to overcome procrastination. I was a big procrastinator when I was in school. That was something that I had to overcome just because, in high school, I was able to get away with that. In college, not so much, these are all led by our student success team and campus partners that we coordinate with. Definitely an opportunity for students to get engaged with this series as well. And this will be available to students typically by the first week of the semester. They'll have an idea of what these different workshops look like and how to join. Also, with First at Pitt, First at Pitt is certainly for first generation students who are among the first in their family to attend college and get a 4-year degree. I know there's a lot of, I'm not quite sure if I'm a first generation student. Here at Pitt, if you are going to be among the first in your family, immediate family to attend college and pursue a 4-year degree, you are a first generation student. So if your parents got a degree and overseas, you're still going to be a first generation student because you're going to be the first to do it here in America. If your parent or sibling only has 1 semester left in school, and you start school, you're still considered a first generation student because you are going to be among the first in your family to do this. So this is First at Pitt. This is an opportunity that students have to connect with other students, faculty, staff, about being a first generation student at Pitt. Connects again, alumni support programs. Even here at Pitt, if you're not first at Pitt, you can also be a first at Pitt advocate. So you advocate for these students that are first generation. There's a mentoring program on our Pitt Commons, which is more or less like our LinkedIn for the University of Pittsburgh. So there's a First at Pitt mentoring program where we connect first generation students with other faculty, staff, alumni, where they can ask questions, they can get career advice, they can get academic advice, they can get major advice of what it's like for students that have kind of been there and done that here at the University of Pittsburgh. And there's a lot of first generation support programs that we offer here at Pitt, and First at Pitt certainly connects with those. Kessler Scholars being one of those, which is a first generation serving program that I represent. Also, my colleague, Dr. Carl Seld, there's the McNair Scholars for students that are interested in going on to do research or getting a PhD, not, a medical doctorate. So a lot of those students are first generation as well. So there's a lot of different opportunities for students that are considered first generation or even first generation families just to kind of get that extra support of what it's like to go through this for the first time. And then as you transition out of school too, just to kind of get that career advice, because, when you're first generation as an undergraduate, you're going to be first generation in every next step that you take after that, so this is just an opportunity just to kind of enrich those students once they're here at Pitt and, all the way through until they graduate. And even still after they graduate, just kind of keeping them connected with those like them. And that was it for my presentation. For our presentation, I should say. And we wanted to kind of open up the opportunity for you guys to kind of ask questions, or ask for information, whatever it may be. So we can open up that opportunity now. And I can't tell if they're rolling in or not. So,
Yeah,
Bree or Mary, if you
I
see
see a
any
question.
rolling in.
yeah.
Yeah. Is Provost Academy first come, first serve? Yeah, thank you for that question. It is. So we've only 1 year. This will be the 7th summer of Provost Academy. One summer we did reach capacity and had to kick in our wait list. So we have students that change their mind oftentimes at the very last minute. Um, but we have a wait list that'll kick in as well. And we were able to take students off the wait list. I think we ended up taking everybody off the wait list that year. So that cohort was 250 students, which is our capacity. So essentially it is first come, first serve. But like I said, there was only one of the 7 years where we reached that capacity and we were able to fit everybody in off of a wait list. So if you're really interested in the program, sign up now just to secure your space. Um, yeah, once we hit that capacity, we only have so much room.
And one other thing that I'm going to drop in here too, I know Brianne had mentioned that we serve underrepresented students as well. And something that I don't want to get lost in the shuffle too is that students that may come from rural communities as well. You know, I know that coming from, you know, a rural area, which I grew up in, and coming to the University of Pittsburgh can be a culture shock, you know. So it's different when you're visiting in the summer, you know, when things are lighter and slower versus when you visit here between, you know, September and April, you know. So it's going to be a lot different. But, you know, wanted to let you guys know that we also have a support program for those students that may consider themselves rural, called Prism, and that's something that we do. And just like, you know, the cohort programs that I talked about, Kester Scholar, um, you know, Mastery Charter Scholar, Provost Scholars, these students, you know, we're here for as well, to work with those students to help them navigate this as well. Because, you know, sometimes it's not about the academic side of it. Sometimes it's just about feeling like they belong, you know, in a place. You know, the academic side comes easy. It's just, hey, how do I fit in here? And all students, you know, when they come to Pitt, you know, they are 100% welcome. They are 100% supposed to be here. So, you know, we just want to make sure that every student that does end up coming to the University of Pittsburgh knows that, you know, we accept them, they're here, and they belong here 100%. So,
Thank you for that, Brian. I just wanted to answer one other question live when it comes to registration and registration deadlines and capacity. I do ask that if you're not sure the student can commit to that full week, and we need that student to arrive on the 9th or the 10th, and then of course they'll stay, but we can't have students just, you know, come on Tuesday or Wednesday. In order to meet our goals of acclimating the student, we need them to be there for the duration of the academy. So, and then if you're not sure, I ask you to not take a spot away from another student, but to make sure you're fully committed to the program before registering. So again, it rarely fills up. There's plenty of time. It just opened, but make sure that the student, can fully commit to the week before you register. And then Mary, did you want to talk about Welcome Week? I'm happy to.
Yeah, go ahead. I was just tagging them for us.
Okay.
Yep.
So there was a question, what goes on the week after Provost Academy, the week before school starts? So it's called Welcome Week here at Pitt. So that's when all 4,000 plus other first year students, they'll be moving in the weekend after Provost Academy. So like that's Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then Monday evening through Sunday, the following Sunday is Welcome Week. So there'll be some required programming that occurs during Welcome Week, and then optional programming. So, you know, the required programming involves wellness and safety. It involves a residence hall, code of conducts, if applicable, and a lot of other, you know, policies, rules, safety, an academic meeting with the entire school. So arts and science.
I, yeah, I'm not sure if everyone can hear me. I think
Mary, I
Brianna is
can,
trying to
yes,
talk.
I can hear you, Mary. I think we might be back, and I can see Brian moving, so that's a good sign.
Okay, I'm sure Brianne is trying to pop back
there she
in. Okay.
goes.
I think she's
Yeah, here
popping
we
on.
go. I'll let her finish.
There we go.
Sorry, did you still need me to answer that question? Sorry, everyone, I lost internet connection.
Yeah, I don't think anyone heard it because I think it froze on our end too, Brianne.
So you want me to start from the beginning?
I heard most of it. If there are additional questions, maybe people just type it for if they didn't hear, maybe.
The sum is there's required and social programming that goes from the weekend after Provost Academy to the weekend before the first day of classes, which is on Monday. I think it's the 26th of August this year. Yeah. But let me know if I can fill in any blanks. And I'll
So
put
that
the
was the
1 week link in the chat for everyone as well.
We got
was
a
that a
question
question, Brianne?
about
Oh, I'm sorry.
housing. Oh, sorry. Was that what you were going to say, Brian? It says, do we offer support with housing? So I guess the question I would have is like what that support is. You know, we assist with making sure that the students who are attending Provost Academy get housing, and we help them move in early, and we accommodate that. But there is, you know, an office that handles housing, and they have RAs, and so I'm not sure, you know, what exactly the question is, but we don't do as much with housing. Oh, do we help them choose housing? We do not assist with the housing placement or which dorms they get into. Provost Academy specifically, those students, they can live in any of the dorms that any of the other incoming students would live in. It's not specific. I'll answer one about the Career Prep Academy that just popped up. The Career Prep Academy in the fall starts in September after the fall career fair. And the sign up does not begin until after welcome week and after their first week of classes. We just want to give everyone a minute to settle in. Not only will they get an email, but we have a Career Prep Academy website that will also list when the classes are. And I'll type that underneath your answer or your question so that everyone can see that as well. And then in the spring, it will start in January, and registration will be about 3 weeks before it starts. We try to do it at the beginning of the semester so that it doesn't interfere with their finals and with their studying, because we want them to be able to focus on that.
Our office here in Student Affairs that coordinates Welcome Week and the program, the orientation program after Provost Academy, I put their link to that office in the chat. It looks like they have not put a lot of Welcome Week details on their website yet, probably because they're still in the thick of planning for that. But you can also find information about the online orientation, which is how the student gets connected to academic advising. That online orientation is required for all incoming first-year students. So also note that that is a step for your student that has not launched yet. So don't panic if you have not received information, but parents will get an email and have guest access to the online orientation. Again, this is how a student gets linked to their academic advisor to register for classes, among learn a lot of other incoming orientation things, and it's virtual. It's all online. They do on their own pace from the comfort of their own home. So, but Welcome Week information will be on that website probably soon as well. I'm just not finding it for you right now.
Brianne, do we want to give a link for Provost Academy? Students should get that in their email, correct?
Yeah, we can put that in the chat if anybody wants to.
Yeah, I'll find it.
And then I can just quickly about the first career fair. We have multiple kinds of career fairs at the university. And so we do have some of the larger ones, which they maybe are, the employer may be only hiring like a junior or senior. But we have other career fairs. We also have an internship fair to help students find an opportunity for the summer, which absolutely can go for first year students. And we also do some for just summer jobs that are more temporary. We have that as well. But we know that a student might be coming in and not know what to expect or not know what to do for their first career fair. So one thing that we will be offering this fall will be kind of like a tour of the career fair. And so even if they're there, the students are not there to visit with the employers, we can walk them around, let them know what to expect, let them see what it looks like, and let them feel more prepared for when they are ready to apply for a job. They will be like, oh yeah, the career fair, I've been there, I know that, I've done that. So we will also have that we will be offering for them, where we can give them a tour.
So I'm going to answer the question about Pitt email because that is super important. Um,
Yes.
so I think if I'm understanding your question correctly, they do not know their Pitt email. Like mine's brianne.donahue@pitt.edu. Not that they know their email, but they're just not getting certain emails. So if they don't have their Pitt email yet, you'll want to contact Pitt IT. Um, and sorry for all the things in the chat, but it's probably just the easiest to get everyone the answers. They have an exceptional help desk. You can chat a question, you can call them, you can email them, you can fill out a form. There's so many methods of getting your questions answered, and they are so quick. I've had so many, you know, issues over the 2 decades I've worked at Pitt, and they're wonderful. So I will throw that in the chat. Sorry, I can't talk and type at the same time, but their student will want to contact Pitt IT and just they'll walk them through getting their Pitt email. But in addition to that, make sure your student, if they do have their Pitt email and they've shared like, here's my Pitt email, mom or dad, or make sure they are checking it. I can't stress this enough. Brian had mentioned a scholarship program. The invitation to do that is coming to the Pitt email. The invitation to participate in Provost Academy will be coming to their Pitt email. To sign up for the Career Prep Academy to the Pitt email. So that's what they need to check on a daily basis. And we're finding it's not just your high school seniors that are about to be incoming college students. It is, the plethora of students in our generation that we're serving. They're just finding it very difficult to keep up. So there's a lot of tips. We're thinking a lot about that in student affairs when it comes to teaching, students to do these side of things, how to unsubscribe from junk, so it's not so overwhelming. But they'll miss things if they're not checking their Pitt email now on a daily basis. That is how the university is going to communicate with them. Up until this point, the Office of Admissions and Financial Aid may have communicated with the student on their Gmail or their Yahoo or their high school email address. But now, from here on out, the university is going to communicate with their Pitt email, including their academic advisor. So I can't stress that enough. I'm sure Summer has additional tips in that area, but I'm going to stop talking and put some information in the chat.
Yeah, I think to answer Roxy's answer, again, it's probably just kind of keeping your eye out for that Pitt email. And once you do have it established, using that email, I think I saw another chat in here saying that Gen Z and email. Unfortunately, that is going to be the primary way that, students are contacted here at the university. So, I know it's going to, and I think sometimes that's one of the harder transitions is like checking their emails regularly. But that's something that, even in our student academic success series, we talk about academic communication and how to send an email and the importance of checking your email. And I'm not saying check it every day, but maybe a couple times a week would be a good practice for those students. Just because as soon as they are given that Pitt email, that's where all the communication goes. So the personal email is no more. It's their Pitt email that they'll get all the information from. And within that Pitt email, you should also get a link for the, keep an eye out for the online orientation too, because that online orientation would be something that students need to complete in order to get in contact with their academic advisor and schedule classes and things like that. So there's a pre-orientation, and then 24 hours after that, there is the orientation that students would have to complete. And again, this allows you to get in contact with your academic advisor and be able to register for classes for the fall term. So that would be my suggestion for parents and students, is kind of keep an eye on that Pitt email once you get it.
I'm gonna pop in for some family specific emails. Student Affairs will begin emailing any incoming parents, families, whomever your student listed as there's like 2 email categories when they applied to Pitt. We will email both of those emails if they filled them out, with information about Welcome Week and Student Affairs programming. It will not be the information about arrival or your housing assignment or parking when you get to campus. We will let you know if those emails have come out, but those will go directly to your student to that Pitt email address. But we will reinforce some of that messaging to our parents and families, really about Welcome Week and Student Affairs programming. But we do not start sending those emails until like the second week of June. I'd also like to stress, I realize we have 1 minute left, but anytime you're like, I saw someone comment that they feel a little lost. And I always think it's a bit like it's like taking in information from a fire hose. There's so much and it feels really new and scary and exciting and all of the things that compound those big emotions. And so if at any point you're like, we're lost, I don't know what happens next. I don't know if we filled out all the things that we need to fill out. Like when we start to pay, like all of those things, please feel free to email parents, that's with an S, so parents plural, at pitt.edu. That goes directly to the Office of Parent and Family Resources, which is just me. And so I will get back to you or connect you and make sure you get that information. So please don't sit feeling lost. We are a large university, which is amazing and probably one of the reasons your student picked Pitt. But let us help you to make that feel smaller so that your arrival in August feels extra exciting and that you are navigating it really well. So please use that email, parents with an S at pitt.edu. But we are at 1 o'clock. Brian, Bree, Mary, any last thoughts? I think the Q&A is cleared. It is. Perfect.
Yeah, thank you so much and congratulations again.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you all, our presenters. Wonderful. We hope you'll join another one of our webinars this summer. We offer like 2 a month. The full schedule is on the Parent and Family Resources website, but also you can prompt us with an email and we'll send you that full webinar schedule so you can get registered